What's going on, guys? It's Sean here, back today to give you guys a review of the Travis Scott collaboration with Nike on the Air Max 270 React ENG in the Cactus Trails colorway. One of the most talked about shoes so far in 2020, this pair dropped on May 29th for $175 US or $225 here in Canada. The official colorway for this shoe is light cream, starfish, and dark hazel, and this release marks the latest collaboration between Travis Scott and Nike, which, as expected, similar to all the other past releases, sold out instantly on the day of the release. So these dropped on the Nike Sneakers app, along with some of the larger sneaker boutiques as well, including Livestock here in Canada. Before we take a closer look at the shoes, here's a look at the box. And as you guys can see, this comes in that mid-1990s style Nike box, which is a very nice throwback touch. So jumping straight into the shoes, this is your Air Max 270 React ENG silhouette. For the most part, the upper of the sneaker is constructed out of engineered mesh, and is done in this light cream or sail color. But similar to all your other ENG models, we have these wavy TPU overlays which runs across the length of the shoe, and this gives you additional structure and support on the shoe, but just from a visual standpoint, it creates a very fluid and very dynamic look to it. Wrapping around the front edge of the toe box, we have this brown colored nubuck along with a white colored swoosh embroidered on the lateral side. Found in the middle of the shoe, right at the base where the laces are, we have this grayish blue or grayish green colored nubuck. And then for the eyelets, these are done in red nylon. And we also have this sail colored nylon strap, which is stitched on running down the center of the tongue. For the laces, these come with an oval shaped gray colored lace. And at the top of the tongue, we have this lace lock or lace toggle, which is done in a combination of purple and blue, along with this Air 270 branding done in orange. The tongue itself is pretty nicely padded, it feels soft to the touch, and it's constructed out of this gray colored nylon. Moving towards the back end of the sneaker, so here we have this exposed fleece, which is an interesting choice because normally you'd expect the fleece to be on the inside of the shoe, but in this case, it is found on the exterior. We also have an orange colored swoosh that's embroidered in the center. At the very back of the sneaker, at the bottom, we have another hit of brown colored nubuck, and then attached to the top, we have a sail colored pull tab with this raised Cactus Jack branding pressed on in this orange font. Both the back side of the tongue and the inner liner of the shoe is done in this gray colored textile. And then pulling out the insoles, these come with gray colored insoles with Cactus Jack branding done in white on the right foot and the Travis Scott face logo in orange on the left foot. So the upper of these Air Max 270 Reacts sits atop this midsole, which is constructed out of React foam on the forefoot and Nike Air 270 on the back heel. The most controversial design aspect about this shoe is definitely the treatment of the color of the midsole and the air unit. So you can see it looks like it's hand painted in a very sloppy fashion in this golden yellow finish, which gives it a very vintage look. But the thing that bugs me the most is the way this paint finish was done. It just looks very unprofessional, almost like they told a kid to paint the shoe. And you can see hanging off the right foot, there's this disclaimer tag as well. And it reads, "The antique finish is purely cosmetic and may wash off when in contact with water or other liquids. Do not wash shoe in washing machine. If needed, dry shoes by dabbing with clean dry cloth." So not only did they do a sloppy job on the paint, but also the fact that this paint is gonna come off when in contact with water or soap, to me that just adds insult to injury. I think I saw online someone purposely scrubbed off this paint, and underneath it the React foam was actually done in like a light gray color. But to be honest, I felt like it looked equally as bad doing it that way versus just leaving it alone. Turning the shoe over to the bottom, so here we have your outsole of your Air Max 270 React. So we have these vintage white rubber overlays found on the forefoot and circling the air unit. And again, the entire outsole is treated in that same vintage look, where you can see the paint swirls, giving it just a very dirty and worn-in effect. So that covers the actual look of the shoe. In terms of how they fit, so my feet measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side. I picked these up in a size 10, and overall they fit decent. I do have to say, this is more of a narrow and long-fitting sneaker, so for those watching who have really wide feet, this might not be the best shoe for you. So even though my feet are a little bit wide, I could feel a little bit of pinching on the forefoot area, but it wasn't too bad. And despite going true to size, there's still about just under a thumb's width space between the edge of the shoe and the top of my toe. So I know some people out there are recommend going up a half size. My fear is that there's gonna be way too much space from a length perspective, but if you do have wider feet, then you might be forced to go up a half size and just deal with the extra space. Next up, talking about comfort, this is another area of the shoe that I wasn't a big fan of. The Air Max 270 React combines an Air Max unit in the heel with Nike React foam on the forefoot, Given that the Air Max unit is much stiffer and much higher off the ground compared to the React forefoot, it creates a very unnatural feeling on feet. So it almost felt like I was on heels, like my feet were tilted forward, and the difference in the stiffness was a little bit too much for me. I personally felt like there should have been more firmness and support on the forefoot, whereas the back heel could have been a little bit lower to the ground and a little bit softer. Last but not least, in terms of the quality on the shoe, overall it wasn't bad. The materials used weren't anything spectacular, but at the same time, they weren't bad either. And then from a craftsmanship standpoint, no real issues here, except for, of course, the treatment of the midsole. With all that being said, let's lace up these Travis Scott Air Max 270 Reacts, and I'll show you guys how these look on feet. Putting away all the hype aside, is this actually a nice shoe? My personal opinion is it's not. I could confidently say that if this was not a Travis Scott collab, it would easily be found at Nike outlets. It almost felt like Nike was trying to see how far they can push the shoe as some sort of business or social experiment to see whether people will still be buying this pair. And hey, I guess I'm part of the problem because I did pick this up, but I found it very interesting that compared to other Travis Scott collabs, the resale price on this is only about 600 to 650 Canadian dollars, whereas other collabs on the Air Jordan 4, the Air Force 1s, and the Air Jordan 1s are all way higher than 1,000 Canadian dollars. That makes me feel a little bit better, and I put a little bit more faith in the sneaker community that they're not going to be paying ridiculously high resale prices on a shoe that, in my opinion, is just simply ugly. You know, the physical looks of the shoe is one thing, but the fact that I don't even find them comfortable either just kind of makes it that much worse. So I'm curious to see how these shoes hold up in the secondary market, say in 6 months from now or a year from now, and whether holding on to this pair will make a good trade bait months down the road. So I'm curious to know what you guys think about this Travis Scott Air Max 270 React ENG in the Cactus Trails colorway. First of all, did you guys pick up a pair? And if you did, is this gonna be a keep, or is it something that you're gonna be trading or flipping? For those that didn't pick this up, is it because you just took an L, or is it because you actually just don't like the look of the shoe? Leave your comments down below. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say. If you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Give me a follow on Instagram at esco8. Check out my Twitter at sean.go, and visit my website at seango.ca. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this video, and until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next one.